Gonna get better now. Ready for the weather now. Go get your sweater now. Smile like it's cheddar now. Yeah, time to go get it now. God will not let you down. I'm up when I'm down. I ain't got time to frown. I feel so happy. I feel so happy. There's nothing you can say that can even change my day. I feel so happy. I feel so happy. I feel so good today.
Everything that connects to me is getting taken away from me. Is there something wrong with me? Right. And so for forgiveness with you, how did you come to that space?
I was so angry with God, I wasn't looking at myself. So ultimately I had to forgive myself in my questions to God, because I thought I had no purpose, but God had a greater purpose for me. He made me experience all of this grief, this tragedy that was going on in my life, to realize that life is too short for you to dwell on the small things, like something that you would think is so major. It isn't.
Yeah.
Hello there, Domly Goings Rector, DT Rector, or Minister Rector, whichever one. I am so grateful and honored to have just come off of the Forgiveness Nation show with Kiana F. Brown, and I am so appreciative that she had me here and we talked about faith as it relates to forgiveness. You see, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. And so in forgiveness, it's so important that we have faith to believe that as we continue to persevere, that we all will have forgiveness. Well, look, if you would like to connect with me outside of this show, please do so. I'm at DT Rector 1 on all social media platforms. You can inbox me or email me, just info@dtrector.com. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Good evening, everybody. Happy new decade. Happy 2020. This is a new year. We are starting Forgiveness Friday off with a bang. That's right. We were on Fox 5:45 in the morning in Baltimore, and now our guest today has come all the way this way from Baltimore. We're kind of doing like a little switcheroo, but anyhow, we're excited to be here. There is something that you must do for this new season, for this new show that we have. We're going and extending to an entire hour because it has been highly requested and a high demand that we do it. They said, hey, you're talking too much, but then you're getting cut off and we want to hear more. So guys, we brought it to you, and full hour of Forgiveness Fridays with some new twists and turns. So get excited, but you have to do something right now. You have to either go to the bottom of your corner, which left, right. I don't know. I'm team iPhone. I don't know what you have, but you can share this message right now because I'm pretty sure that you are going to want to stick around and stay tuned. We have the amazing Shanae Woodson in the studio. You've heard her, you've seen her, she speaks on stages, and she's also the owner of the Amazing magazine.
Amazing?
Yes,
Yes.
I mean, you look at how many people you've had on your cover. I mean, like people that we can't even reach out and touch. I mean, Joyce Myers. We're talking about Todd, like what, Mike? Like what? So everybody wants to be like, right? But she had him on the cover. His favorite magazine. You guys know I rep it. I'm so honored to be a field correspondent. That's a whole nother story. We can talk about that later, but we're here to talk about this amazing, beautiful woman. Thank you for this first show, jumping the gear of coming all the way from Baltimore.
The highways and the byways.
Not feeling that great, guys, and didn't want to let us down, and still showed up and participated in this new year as we're venturing into forgiveness in a new decade.
It's Kiana. I wasn't going to miss Kiana F. Brown. Y'all crazy. I said, I'm just blow my nose a little more. I'll be all right.
Okay, so this is something new that we're doing on the show. This is called our Icebreaker. So a lot of people, they see the guests and they might see some of their information from visiting them on Facebook, but I want to get a little bit deeper into knowing who you are and the rest of the guests for the rest of the season and years to come. So I have two questions for you. Sure. The first question is, what is one thing that nobody knows about Shanae Woodson?
Something no one knows about me. I'm actually pretty shy.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that, they don't see that, but I'm a very shy person. And when I first start talking, I stutter a little bit, so you might get some of that tonight. But yes, I'm actually pretty shy.
Okay.
But I put on this whole other persona and just come out my shell. And
But when you get to going, you
oh
get
yeah,
to going.
I can get rolling.
I mean, because you're teaching speakers how to speak.
Yes.
So I know that that's something that you do, but it's odd. You know, I guess that I'm a little shy sometimes too, and I kind of can be a little standoffish. So I can get that. I understand. But now, what is the one thing that the world needs to know about Shanae Woodson?
They need to know that I am an overcomer.
Okay.
They need to know that because of all the things that I've been through. Not saying, some other people probably couldn't have gone through it, but I know from hearing stories and things that people have said that committed suicide, like I could have been in that number with all the things that I've gone through. So I want everyone to know that I am truly an overcomer just from everything that I've been through. Like even now, I'm not sure if I should say this, even with my daughter sitting out there in the audience, even with her, like just, not saying I should not, because God still has me here, but it was possibility that I would not even be sitting here next to you. Overcomer. I'm an overcomer. I want everybody to know.
Yes,
Scream from the mountain. I'm an overcomer.
I love that, and encouraging it to be an overcomer. So right now we're going to go in. I mean, I believe that was a great segue to our testimony time. So everybody who's been a part of the show for years, and it's amazing that I can say years, for years know what testimony time is. So in just a brief second, we'll go right into testimony time.
Okay.
All right, so testimony time is here. We're excited about it, and this is where you get to share your story, who you are, and how forgiveness has impacted your life in that area.
Forgiveness has impacted my life a lot. It's even been things in my life that people probably are looking at me. Actually, I had with me in the past, I've put out a book called The Mini Series of Me. And in that book, I was very transparent in that book because I felt I needed to be. And throughout I was writing it, I realized how much unforgiveness I still had in me.
Wow.
But as I was writing it, things was coming out. I began to cry and just going through the whole motions and realized I still had a lot of things bottled up. And it all stemmed from just, being molested and raped at a young age and kicked out of my home. I've had a lot of unforgiveness concern, even with my parents.
Wow.
Just thinking that if they didn't do this, then this wouldn't have happened, or if they would let me stay home, then but it didn't take accountability for the things that I've done to cause them to say, hey, we're gonna have to let you get out of here because you're not doing things you're supposed to. And it just recently, I would say within a year, my mom and I had a talk where I really just sat and told her how I felt about that time at 18 years old when I just, hey, my own mother.
How did that feel?
Talking with her about it, it was life-changing for me because I had held that in for so long. You figure from 18 years old all the way to, almost 40, holding all that in and still smiling in her face and say, I always love my mother. That's my mother. But I still held that in for a very long time because I felt as though, she could have stood up for me and she could have been there more. But other than that, I love my mother, like, wholeheartedly. But because of the things that I did, and I didn't really look in the mirror and say, hey, you need to forgive not only her, but for yourself as well. Because if you can't forgive yourself, then you won't really be able to forgive her and take accountability for the things that you did. Like, it wasn't all mom's fault. Well, all wasn't dad's fault or stepdad's fault, all those things. And I even had to ask for forgiveness because when my father passed away, he passed away in, I believe it was 2013.
Okay.
And I even was mad at God for a long time. And the reason being, mad at God, how can you be mad at God? Yeah. But me being mad at God was because I had prayed for so long to have this relationship with my dad. And when I finally started to build it after my daughter was born, then it was like, okay, I'm like, yes, I got he wasn't the best father, but he was stepping up, being a great granddad. He was there with me at the hospital and all this stuff. Then boom, God, you take him.
Wow.
Like just when I'm getting, getting that relationship built, and it's just stripped away. So I was angry. I was very hurt about that. And I just said, God, like, why every time I get close to someone or just get ready to build that relationship, something happens.
Yeah.
And I begin to, even with friendships and things like that, like if someone got a little too close, then it was like, okay, yeah, something about to happen. So let me back up, let me back off a little bit, and just keep going my way. So it's taken a long time for me to get to this point, to even sit here in front of you and just say, yeah, it's been a long journey, but I thank God for the journey, because it helped me to know who I am now, and who God called me. Because actually I was called to the ministry at 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And I ran away from it because I felt like I wasn't worthy enough, or I had did all these things in my past. So how can I stand up there and, say anything in front of anybody when I know I have all these other skeletons in my closet, which I eventually opened the closet and threw it all out there. But yes, it's been quite a journey when it comes to forgiveness. And basically, like I said, my testimony is still in the works. It's still in the works.
Girl, I so believe it. I so believe it. So just looking at what we're talking about, and I got to get comfortable because I know we about to talk about some good stuff. So just looking at what we're talking about today, we're talking about being in a new season, new beginnings. What was it like? I know you've had some situations in your life where you literally had to start over. And I want to get that message out there to the person who has gone through some traumatic things, who's had some losses, who've had some gains, and still don't even know how to to begin with their game, right? Because when you're having a new beginning, it doesn't always mean that you're having to start over. You can have something and still don't know how to materialize it even further or even handle what you have. So if there's any part of your testimony where you've had to start over and continuously trying to build something, what was that like for you, and how did you maneuver through that?
Because I am being transparent, I recently went through a divorce, and that in itself was starting over. I had no choice to start over because I didn't have, it wasn't two incomes anymore. I'm officially a single mom. And when I left, I told him, hey, you have everything.
Wow.
And I literally had to start.
That's when you know you're done.
Yeah.
That's when
like the dishes, the only thing I really took was my clothes and a few things. That's about it. But even starting down from buying new forks and knives and everything.
Wow.
And then I had just started a new job working with the state of Maryland. So I was like, okay, God, if I never trusted in you, yeah, this is about to happen, because I have no choice now but to trust in you, because now I have a child, and I will admit, I've been divorced before, but that time I was by myself. I didn't have to worry about anybody else but Shanae. But this time, I have a daughter,
whole nother life.
and I still have this new job that just came about, and I still have this magazine and other ministries I'm trying to start. What in the world am I going to do all by myself? And God has been showing off. The tears about to come. He has been showing off, because I was listening to, we all know Real Talk Kim, and I was sitting there listening to her one night, and what she said rung so clear. She was talking about her situation with her divorce and everything. And she said one day she was crying, saying, Lord, I just want to move on. Just want to move on. And she said she clearly heard God say, just give it to me. Just give it to me. She said she jumped in the shower and she cried for like a long time.
Wow.
And I don't want to quote because I don't remember exactly the timing. But she said, and after that, she got out the shower when she was free. Do you know I copied off of her? I went there. I got so Kim, how are you? Yes, I copied off of you after you shared your live on Facebook. Got in the shower and just sat there, cried and cried and cried. But guess what? When I got out, I still felt a little pain. I said, okay, well, it didn't work.
Yeah,
it worked for her.
That wasn't your blessing.
that wasn't my.
Yes.
I guess that wasn't the way God wanted me to go through the process. And we have to understand that too. And I want to share this real quick. Sometimes the way people's journey isn't the same as ours.
Yeah.
He wants us to heal in other ways. There's maybe some other issues that we need to deal with. So even though we had similar issues as far as divorce, that wasn't my, even though I wanted to copy off of her and say, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump in the shower and just
Yeah.
cry it out. I got out.
Trying to get to it quickly.
I was like, I got out of the shower, like, I'm still angry.
Yeah.
I'm still upset. I'm still trying to figure out things. But what really was a turning point is I used my gift. And this actually happened recently. I wish I had had it been like literally, Kiana, maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I sent an email, a very long email, because I love to write. So why not use the gift that God gave me to release
Yes.
what I needed? That shower thing wasn't for me.
Like all you did was get clean.
Yeah, I got really clean. I smelled good, and I slept good that night. But I woke up still feeling angry. I literally typed, because I ain't right, typed up a long email and just,
Just released it all.
And when I got done, a couple tears fell down. And I said, okay. And do you know that next day, I got an email asking me to interview Michael B. Jordan.
Wow.
Just like that. And I said, okay, God, I'm ready.
Wow.
I'm ready. And it's been like, the past few weeks been like,
Popping.
and even though things have happened prior, I think God was just giving me a glimpse of things. Like, if you just, Shanae, go through this healing process, stop trying to rush it, and just let me take you through the process. I'm going to give you a little glimpse of things on the way. But guess what? When you finally let it go and you finally realize, hey, I got this, and I got this for you, then watch what I'm going to do after that.
Amen.
And that's all I have to, woo.
Amen.
So, yeah.
So, like you talked about it a little bit about, I'm checking our time because I know we can talk.
Oh, yes.
We're
We
moved for an hour.
friends. We talk on the phone.
But so you have literally gone through a lot of things, and I love what you said. You said that you watched someone else's journey and you thought that you could adapt it to yourself, and you realized that it wasn't for you. Everybody has their own journey. But the other thing that I do like that you said is, in the beginning you talked about being an overcomer, and I said everyone pay attention. So it's good to be able to see the goodness of God's glory, and to know that not necessarily everything that you see other people being blessed with is going to be yours, but it's just an example. I was listening to Sarah Jakes, and she said that's just God's portfolio, and you're being able to witness and partake what God can do. And it doesn't mean that He's going to do that specific thing for you, but that's just showing you the power of what He can do. And that brought that back to me. But it's amazing how you have this magazine, and we hit on this before earlier, and you are celebrating 2 years.
Yes.
2 years, and you're having a special event. I got my tickets. Oh, by the way, the person what do we want them to do? What do we want them to do? We didn't even think about this.
What they can do is, let's do this. They can share the event page, tag his favorite 2 years, and then we'll whoever get the most likes, and let's do it that way. Get the most likes, then we'll
All right, so what
get a
you
ticket.
have to do is you have to go find the page. What's the name of the page?
It's actually His Favor Magazine's 2nd year anniversary, I believe.
Okay.
It's under His Favor Facebook page.
Okay, so look under His Favor Facebook page. You need to share it, and then you need to put 2 years. And the first person that does that, you got to put FF. A hashtag Forgiveness Friday behind it. Oh, I'm sorry, hashtag Forgiveness Nation behind it, and you're going to get a ticket to the private screening of the movie Mercy.
Just Mercy, yes.
Yes, so guys, get excited about that. But I want you to talk about a little bit, because we have a couple of minutes before we get into our new segment with Coda's Corner.
Okay.
I'm excited about that, guy. You do not understand. But just tell us a little bit more about the magazine, why your vision behind it, and just the blessing that God has been able to place in your life by doing this, and how you've impacted other people. Like she's impacted me. How you've impacted others.
Well, His Favor Magazine all started with a name change, because at the current magazine, from doing the different issues we were doing, I noticed that it wasn't really meeting the content. The content wasn't matching the name and everything. And also, God had been showing so much favor. Like, it started off as just indie artists and things like that. And I realized, like, wait a minute, we already had Vicky Yohe and Jacqueline Carr, all these people. And I said, to me, names are everything. Like, your brand, your name says something. And I was just sitting there, and I was telling the person, my ex-husband, and I was like, the name just needs to be, I just feel like it needs to be changed. So I ended up talking to the content editor at the time, Anissa Stewart, and I said, I don't know why I have this feeling like the name needs to be changed. And we just started talking, and out the blue, I said, you know what, girl, God has been showing so much favor and giving, and where from what we started out to what we have now, something said his favor. And I said, girl, I got the name. And she said, what? I said, yep. I hit Sarah Grace up. Shout out to Sarah Grace, who does a marvelous job with our covers and promo. To contact her, hey, I need a logo. I got to get moving. And boom, January 16, 2018, we launched His Favorite magazine. And just within the first 2 covers, I already had Joyce Meyer, Jacqueline Carr, Todd Delaney. If you just look on the site, I mean, it's so many people out the back, and I was like, okay, God, I see you name, I changed your name now what?
Yeah.
And then from there, His Favorite Teen came about, and then it was laid on my heart to do the Spanish magazine. I said, okay, I don't know a lick of Spanish, maybe hola, como se llama. And someone contacted me out the blue and said, hey, have you ever thought about doing a Spanish column? I said, a column? I'm trying to do a whole magazine.
Yeah.
So after her and I were talking, she said she would help with the editing and things like that. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, my sister-in-law, check this out, my sister-in-law is from Ghana. She was adopted by a German family, and she speaks Spanish fluently.
Wow.
And she teaches at University of Buffalo University, I'm sorry. She's a Spanish professor.
Okay.
So God said, boom, hit your family up. I said, okay, here we go. And it went from there. But
so that's 3 magazines?
3 magazines.
So
Yes.
Can you say overcomer? I mean,
Yes.
like I say that people, step into being bold, a believer, a overcomer, a leader, and a destiny grabber.
Wow.
And you just fit right all into that with everything, going through the situation where you had loss, and now being a single mom, and you had 3 magazines, and you have this amazing job with the state. It's just some amazing things that God is doing and blessing you with, and I'm just excited to be along.
Oh, of course.
Be your friend. Like, that's my friend, y'all.
We talk on the phone. We just talk. We go out, hang out.
So I am truly, truly excited. We're not done yet. Okay. This is not the end of the show, but however, this is the end that we're going to share for right now. But you guys, don't forget, we have not taken away the word time. We will be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned. Stick around for Coda's Corner.
Hey Forgiveness Nation, I'm here with Kiana. Just got to meet her and I love what she stands for about forgiveness and letting things go, and we just believe as you do that you'll see God's blessings in new ways. So we bless you, we pray for you, and believe in you'll see an awesome 2019.
Certified pet esthetician, owner and stylist here at Pooch Dolls Pet Grooming. We are located in Forestville, Maryland. We have dedicated our business to learning through technology, education, and providing great services to our clients. We offer traditional grooming, creative grooming, and even skin therapy. If your pet has any needs as it relates to skin, we are here for you. This is the system and the products that we have set together to provide your pet with forgiveness. We would like to welcome you and your pet to our home. be different? And what do I mean by that? Could it be different from the choices that you made? Could it be different from the decisions that other people made for you? Are you able to repossess your life? Are you able to regain the purpose that God has placed deeply inside of you? And this is the Uplift Project, and it's a part of my new business called Uplift Women's Alliance. And in that, we help women, business owners, to discover their purpose, to create impact in the world, and to find and build their confidence.
Of today's topic of Forgiveness Friday, and we just bring it into the layman's terms of the youth. And today on the show, we have an especially special guest, and this is Miss Paris Smalley. She is a DMV motivational speaker who is prolific and is raising havoc on the kingdom of darkness. Can we please give it up for Miss Paris Smalley? Paris, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Paris Smalley. I am a senior at Charles Herbert Flowers High School. I met Miss Dakota West here at Youth Leadership Program, a program that we're both part of, and she is amazing, amazing, amazing. So thank you so much for having me on the show. In my free time, I do a lot of public speaking with my dad and I's nonprofit organization called Impasse, which stands for Empowering, Educating, and Enhancing Students' Abilities Through Music, Performing Arts, and Sports.
Wonderful. So today the topic of the show was new beginnings. And because this is the new year, we want to start off with speaking about how can you begin your new beginning correctly. So I was looking through the Bible as I was preparing for this, and the scripture that the Lord gave to me was Luke chapter 2, verse 49. And that reads in the New King James Version. And he said to them, "Why is it that you sought me? Did you not know that I must be about my Father's business?" Now we know, Paris, that in this 2020 year, and even in any beginning of New Year, a lot of people make a lot of New Year's resolutions, and they say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to just do so many things. But really, do we actually really make true on what we promise? Actually, in this text, what is so funny about it was because you would think that around this, they would have already known what Jesus was saying, because right here, this was Jesus speaking, but they actually really didn't know. As a matter of fact, the background of the text is that Jesus' parents left him in Jerusalem as they were at a Passover festival. And so when they came back looking for him, he said, I was going to do what I said I was going to do. Now, why did you leave me and go on your way without the presence of God? So, parents, can you just begin to talk about a little bit how do we fail at starting wrong? Like, what do you feel is essential to planning a new beginning?
Awesome. Thank you so much for the question. So I think something that is so essential is to know your passions and follow them. And I think a lot of people don't do that, especially I see it with other students, my peers. We begin to plan, the future. We do college applications. We say that we're going to do these things for our careers, but we're not necessarily passionate about it. And so we may not stick with what what we are saying are our goals. So if somebody is applying to a school for cybersecurity or to get a job in cybersecurity, but they really like philosophy, then you shouldn't be majoring in cybersecurity. So make goals that are centered around your passions, follow your heart, and everything that you want in life, the money, the wealth, the relationships, it will follow if you follow your passions.
Right. And that's so true, because if you even look in this text, if you would think about it as a parent, or I have a dog, and that's the extent of me having a child. So if you think about it, you would think as a parent, or even as anyone that's over anything, or like you said, anyone that's anything, you would think that their passion would be something that comes from them, that was birthed from them. But in this text, it wasn't. They left Jesus for 3 days. And the funny thing about this was that the Bible says that they went a day's journey without Jesus. And how many of us go so far, and we get so far, and we don't even have any goals? Just like you said, we're pursuing one thing, and we don't even have that passion for that one thing. And we get a day's journey away, we get a year's journey, 6 months, and we still don't have any passion for it. But the Bible speaks of here a principle of what happens. It says they went a day's journey without Jesus, but it took them 3 days to find Jesus. Which just goes to say that, when you do venture off, and you do, just like you said, you do go off and you do follow those passions, but it's not actually your passion. How long does it take you to get back on course? How long does it take you to get back in line with where you're supposed to be? And I was saying that they went a couple of days away, but Paris, honestly, I want to know from you, what do you really think was their mistake?
Right. I think their biggest mistake was supposing. Yeah, absolutely, supposing. And I see this a lot, even in my own journey, where I suppose I can do all the things that I want to do without putting in the self-love that I need, or thinking that I can do everything without fault, or trying to be perfect. And I think that's something that
Let me write that down, because that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's right there.
I think that's something that is perpetuated in social media, in school classrooms, where we're obsessed with rankings, we're obsessed with other people's test scores. So it's just supposing that you can go this long journey without putting in the self-love, without being true to yourself and your passions, and with comparing yourself to other people and thinking that you can do everything perfectly and without fault. Right. And so I think, taking the scripture to other youth's lives and the things I experience, I think that's something that we can relate to as well.
Right. And it's so funny that you said that, because if you look in verse 44, it says, but supposing him to have been in their company. And that's so true, because we just suppose. I was actually watching Dana Chanel's, one of her videos. She's an amazing entrepreneur, and she speaks about different things that happens in business. And she said the number one problem and mistake that a lot of business owners make is that they suppose something. Just like you said, they suppose that something's going to get done. And that's so true, Paris, because this last semester I was taking this class called microbiology, and I really just forgot that, grades actually do matter. So I was getting all these test scores, and then at the end I would go back and look at my grade and be like, wow, I just supposed it was just going to add up to an A, because I'm just so used to getting A's all my life. I'm just saying, oh, well, it's just going to come an A, because I just always get an A, But I suppose I never actually saw and looked and made sure, hey, do I actually have Jesus with me? Did I actually do this assignment? Am I just going to keep getting these C's on this test and think it's going to average out to an A? But we suppose so many things. And what do you think that's messed you up in your journey? Or how do you think that's actually helped you in your journey?
Yeah, so Dakota, I think those are really great points. And while you were speaking, I was just thinking about gratitude and how many things that we take for granted, because I resonate with your story as somebody who is perfectionist. And, I took microbiome last year, and I was struggling with grades, and coming from, a background of getting and earning A's, it was a struggle, and I took those things for granted. So I think part of it is me taking things for granted, and then realizing that gratitude is so important. And it's not just for taking things for granted, but it really does help you have an overall better outlook on life. It helps you be a happier person, giving back to the community. It has so many benefits. Just practicing gratitude every day, or writing in a gratitude journal helps so much to make sure that you don't suppose, because
Right.
then you're really looking at everything that you have now and being appreciative for it, and making sure that you are actively working to make sure that those things are sustained.
Exactly. And that makes so much sense, because as you were speaking as well, Paris, I was thinking about one time a pastor was saying that him and his wife, they write down every day, they write down 5 things that they're grateful for. And I was just thinking, like, that's so true, because even with God, like, if you just keep supposing, oh, yeah, my relationship is going to be good, like, oh, yeah, I forgot to pray today, but, God knows I love him, or I suppose that he thinks I love him, or even with your schoolwork, oh, yeah, I didn't do that today, but, I suppose I'll do that tomorrow, or, I'm just going to get done, and then you do it, and wow, you could have gotten an A on the assignment, you got a C. And same thing with God, where you could have got a blessing 6 months ago, now you got to wait another 2 years, because you didn't want to do what you're supposed to do in that time. But Prince, like you said giving back, and that's the major thing with gratitude. And I want you to talk about more about your organization and your nonprofit with your dad. Go ahead and elaborate on that.
Yeah, sure. So I love engaging with my community. It's something that brings me a lot of joy. And so when my dad and it was his idea, of course. I was only in elementary school when he began doing community service
So
activities.
you've been doing this since you were younger.
Yeah, since I was
Wow.
younger.
Oh, that's so funny. You know why that's funny? Because we just said right here, be about my father's business. And look, you're right.
Yeah.
And that worked out. That was
Yeah.
cute. Okay, go ahead.
So my dad was a school teacher, and he taught in middle school, and he realized that he could make a bigger impact with our community's youth through doing things outside of the school system, or with the school system, but not necessarily being in the classroom. And so this inspired him to launch this play called Give Me Your Lunch Money, which taught students about bullying. And so from then we created an organization that targeted social development issues in our schools, such as bullying, peer pressure, domestic violence and teen dating violence, and other things. And so we have been consistently giving back to the community since 2010. Every year we have an anti-bullying event, our Parks and Recreation tour, where we go to different parks and recreation facilities across Prince George's County, and we talk to students about anti-bullying. We may put on plays. I do motivational speaking there, and we have a great time with the kids, and we always enjoy seeing them and looking forward to that opportunity this summer. And then we also do a lot of other things. We have a film festival in May where we give students the opportunity to showcase their filmmaking abilities, and the winner of that competition gets to go to an AACP competition.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is really great. And Paris, as we were just talking about, we were talking about passion. And we were talking about how passion fuels to do the things that you want to do. And as you're just speaking, you were saying that, that's what gives you, your joy. That's what brings, that light in your life. And I wanted to know, what is that? What has fueled that passion behind? Is anything connected with your story behind what you and your father do?
Absolutely. So my story is definitely intertwined in the work that I do. So growing up, I was a victim of bullying. And in my school, I would be faced with microaggressions because I didn't speak the way other students spoke. And so...
You're articulate.
Yeah, you're proper.
Right.
And it was really interesting to deal with. And I mean, I wanted to talk about those issues in a way that would empower me and empower somebody else.
They hated you because you talked. Now you got to talk about the issues.
Yeah.
Amen. Look at God.
So because I was otherized, it did take a toll on me, and so I developed social anxiety. However, I was determined that I was going to find a medium to reach other people that were going through similar things. And so through debate and through my father just giving me the opportunity to speak on stage, I developed a love for public speaking. And so now I love to do public speaking on anti-bullying so that I can talk about my story and share my story, but also help other people that are going through the same thing. So that's what fuels my involvement with Impasse.
That is absolutely beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And a lot of people don't even realize the power in sharing your own story. Because when you talk about what you're going through to somebody else, it not only fuels you to keep going, but it helps that other person. And that's just so amazing. And she's only 17. We're only, look at God, 17 doing this. You know what I'm saying? So it's really just, it's showing you that you're never too young, you're never too old, it's never too late, it's never too early. This is the time right now. Jesus was only 12 when he decided, it's about that time that I do what my Father told me to do. And it's like he did, even if sometimes you got to let some people go, because he didn't say go, they just went on their own, you got to let them go. But Purse, I want you to just round us up and just, any last thing that you just want to go ahead and say and to just, give out to your people.
Absolutely. So we are moving in 2020. 2020 just started. And so it's really, really important that as everybody is making their goals, to make sure that they are infused with self-love and not self-hatred. Because I see that a lot. You want to change everything because you don't like yourself, but you want to make these goals out of self-love because you want better for yourself. Make sure that you are not supposing that you have everything together, because that will eventually set you back. And make sure that you're making smart goals, following your passions, not comparing yourself to others, and make sure that you network. Yeah. Because if I didn't network, I wouldn't be here. So
Absolutely. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we're in so much competition with each other that we're just, trying to fight off the next person, but you never know. One can chase 1,000, but two can put 10,000 in flight. So you never know. But I want to thank you all for coming and tuning in. I promise you there is so much more in store. Stay tuned for what is up next. Thank you.
Hey Forgiveness Nation, I'm here with Kiana. Just got to meet her and I love what she stands for about forgiveness and letting things go, and we just believe as you do that you'll see God's blessings in new ways. So we bless you, we pray for you, and believe in you'll see an awesome 2019.
Hello there, Dombley Goings Rector, DT Rector, or Minister Rector, whichever one. I am so grateful and honored to have just come off of the Forgiveness Nation show with Kiana F. Brown, and I am so appreciative that she had me here and we talked about faith as it relates to forgiveness. You see, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. And so in forgiveness, it's so important that we have faith to believe that as we continue to persevere, that we all will have forgiveness. Well, look, if you would like to connect with me outside of this show, please do so. I'm at DT Rector 1 on all social media platforms. You can inbox me or email me, just info@dtrector.com. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Everything that connects to me is getting taken away from me. Is there something wrong with me? Right. And so for forgiveness with you, how did you come to that space?
I was so angry with God, I wasn't looking at myself. So ultimately I had to forgive myself in my questions to God, because I thought I had no purpose, but God had a greater purpose for me. He made me experience all of this grief, this tragedy that was going on in my life, to realize that life is too short for you to dwell on the small things, like something that you would think is so major. It isn't.
Yeah.
Certified pet esthetician, owner and stylist here at Pooch Styles Pet Grooming. We are located in Forestville, Maryland. We have dedicated our business to learning through technology, education, and providing great services to our clients. We offer traditional grooming, creative grooming, and even skin therapy. If your pet has any needs as it relates to skin, we are here for you. This is the system and the products that we have set together to provide your pet with forgiveness. We would like to welcome you and your pet to our home. life be different? And what do I mean by that? Could it be different from the choices that you made? Could it be different from the decisions that other people made for you? Are you able to repossess your life? Are you able to regain the purpose that God has placed deeply inside of you? And this is the Uplift Project, and it's a part of my new business called Uplift Women's Alliance. And in that, we help women, business owners, to discover their purpose, to create impact in the world, and to find and build their confidence.
We played Double Dutch on the street, and I love to play Double Dutch every summer. And I wasn't good in the beginning, but I kept practicing. And that's merely for me. That's how I look at life. When that rope is turning, that's life. That's life. And I'm just looking for my turn. I'm just looking for that opening so that I can jump in and I can double dutch that style, turn around, give you a flip so I can show you everything that God has created me to be. And so, you know, for those of you who are scared to jump in the rope, it is your season. It is your time. Get in the rope. Look for your opening, right? Sometimes we want to sit and we want to wait for things to come to us. No, a lot of the times, the situations that I'm a part of, for an example, right now, I'm a field correspondent for a magazine. I got to go to the Stella Awards, through the red carpet, to do some other big things with the magazine. But guess what I did? I saw that opening and I jumped inside that rope.
I say it's the ants. You need to crush that ant and get rid of it. And what is an ant? It's an automatic negative thought. We do this all the time. We automatically think about something negative and we develop it within ourselves. It becomes us, right? So how do you change that? And the way that you change that is through your belief system. For me, it was journaling, getting up early in the morning, writing, changing the way that my life, my day was going to portray itself. And I don't know if you know it, but we all have the right to predict our lives. And we predict our lives by planning. And so if you plan to be better, then you will be better. If you plan the way that you're going to think and perceive things, then you'll have a different outlook. And then you can unlock your mind. Everybody has the key to do that. And the key is literally like this big.
Wow.
It's your mind.
It's your mind.
It's your mind.
Amazing segment we had with Coda's Corner, her amazing guest Paris. So we are sitting at the round table. We are going to get all into the word time. The word time, you guys know what it is. We do it every single show. So we start off with a definition of the world, and then we go into it with scripture. And now we have everybody, every participant that's been a part of this new episode for the new decade, how we're going into our new year, will discuss the topic. And we've been talking about new beginnings, right? Yes. Ladies, we've been talking about new beginnings. And so I looked on the internet, and there was something from themodernman.com. And it just went in on what, oh, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong thing. That's the next show, y'all. I can't tell y'all about that till next week. So we're going to go to the word time. So if you guys can go ahead and cue us up for the word time, we'll be right back. behind. We're talking about leaving the past behind. Are we leaving our goals behind? Are we leaving our dreams, our aspirations behind? What are you taking from the new beginnings? Moving forward means leaving the past behind.
Well, just going back to Paris and my segment on today, something that she really said that really stuck with me was she was saying, letting go of, moving without self-love. So that's what I'm letting go of. I'm letting go of moving in self-hatred. I'm letting go of moving in self-denial. I'm letting go of moving in, that need for perfection, that need to, honestly, that need for speed, like get together now, Dakota, do this now. I'm leaving that behind. I think that's the most important thing is that you leave behind those things that are toxic to you.
Paris?
Absolutely. I agree with Dakota. What I'm leaving behind is all of the anxiety that I have from past mistakes and failures, and instead of seeing those things as setbacks and things that cause anxiety, I want to see those things as motivation for all of my endeavors for 2020. So I'm very excited to do all the things that I'm doing. I don't want those mistakes to stop me from taking advantage of opportunities. I don't want those mistakes to inhibit my growth. I don't want those mistakes to be fear. And I want to learn from those things, learn from all the mistakes and failures, and make those into something truly beautiful for 2020.
Amen. Shanae, what are you leaving, girl?
Oh, Lord. What am I leaving behind? To me, leaving behind is not always some of the bad things. Because sometimes it's some of the bad things that's going to help push us and keep us going. It's going to put that little foot behind us just to keep kicking us here and there to keep going. So for me, leaving the past behind is anything that's not going to push me. Anything that's not going to keep me going, whether it's good and bad. Because sometimes, like I said, the bad things is what can motivate us. Like there's good stress and there's bad stress.
Yeah.
Some people stress, depending on what they're stressing about, it motivates them. So my past with me leaving behind would basically, like I said, it's anything that's hindering me from moving forward, whether it be good or bad. I'm going to embrace it all.
Wow.
So I just need to, move forward.
Okay. Well, I know for me, guys, I'm going to share with y'all what I'm leaving behind is the fact that I don't ask people for help. I don't ask people for help. I was talking with my mom and she shared that, and I think we kind of
talked about it.
We talked about that a little bit. And there's so many things that I feel that God has placed within inside of me to do, and it's like, Kiana, you can't do it all by yourself. I.e., we have Coda's Corner, and we have Paris here, and we have Shanae. We're doing this together because he may give you an idea, he may give you an instruction, but that doesn't mean that it's meant for you to carry it out solo. So I'm forgiving myself today for thinking that, I got like some muscle. I really
That's
got no
Superwoman
muscle.
mentality.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I am totally leaving behind in that past season, moving forward in this new decade. And so the scripture that I chose for today is from Philippians 3:13 from the NIV version. And it reads, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider myself yet to have taken hold of it, but one thing I do, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus." I love that. I am pushing. There's so many times where we are being pushed in a different way. We're being pushed this way. We allow for life to push us down this way, and I'm pushing this way forward so that I continue the grace that God has on my life, the passion that he has for me, for heavenward, for Christ, because I'm trying to get there. And so I have to forgive myself for letting life push me this way instead of pushing forward.
Right.
Coda?
Jesus, and what you were saying was that, Jesus never said it was going to be easy, we still have to bear our cross, life isn't, going to be a bunch of roses and happy days and no cries and, everything good. So, just like you said, forgiving myself and moving forward and allowing myself to say that, it's okay. You don't have to put yourself in another guilt trip just because you don't feel guilty. It's okay. Like, just move forward. So that's the same thing.
Yeah, Shanae.
I'm agreeing with these young people. Where do you find these two?
Girl, God.
Well, I know she's been in the teen magazine, but yes, I'm basically saying what she's saying. Like, just moving forward. Period. And even what I piggyback what I was stating earlier, just no matter what happens, just keep moving. If you stumble, just keep moving. If you trip, just keep moving no matter what. Just keep moving. If you're moving, and it don't even mean if you're moving fast or slow. Still keep moving. We know the story growing up about the tortoise and the hare. The hare the hare was going off fast, but that tortoise just, I'm going to keep moving my pace. I'm staying in my lane. I jump a little hurdle here and there, but I'm going to keep moving. I'm not looking to the right or the left. I'm just looking straight ahead. And sometimes we too busy looking this way, looking that way, trying to figure out what this person doing.
Paris hit on that earlier.
Yes, and I said I'm copying them. But again, just looking forward to what God has for us, because what He has is already set.
Yeah,
it's already set, and we just gotta just keep it moving.
Amen, amen. Perk, I saved you because I know you about to drop something. You about to drop it like it's hot.
The preacher.
So moving forward, yes, don't let anxiety stifle your ability to do well and to do what you are meant to do. And that's something that I want to take to 2020. That's something that I want to carry with me throughout this year, because there have been times in the past where my anxiety has stopped me from taking advantage of opportunities that would have been good for me. So instead of letting those fears and anxieties stop me from taking opportunities, I want that. I want to leave that behind, and I want to move forward from that and use all of my past experience to motivate my future experiences. And I think another thing that is important is to move at your own pace. Don't feel pressured to move too fast. If you're going too fast, make sure that you are staying at your pace so that you can do everything that you're supposed to do.
Amen, amen. Well, I want to thank all of you ladies for actually being a part of this amazing show today. This is our new decade. I gotta drop some nuggets. Shanae, we talked about being an overcomer. Dakota and Paris, you guys talked about passions and goals. Paris, you hit it. Stop supposing that you can go a long journey without putting in the self-love. I love that. And you said it's never too late. It is never too late. And I had to steal this. And I'm going to use it, and I'm going to give you some credit maybe a couple of times. Infuse yourself with love and not hate. Infuse yourself with love and not hate. Today we have been talking about new beginnings here on Forgiveness Friday. And if you weren't here at the top of the show, you're going to need to go back and press the replay. Coda's going to probably do a watch party for this so that you can go back and see the amazingness that we talked about and shared on this show. There is a giveaway for Just Mercy. His Favor magazine. I'm about to say Forgiveness Friday. His Favor magazine actually is in operation for 2 years. They're celebrating, and they're doing amazing private screening. And guess what? We have some tickets to give away. So if you go to that event, to that page, which is His Favor magazine, all you got to do is share it, and then you have to hashtag 2 years and hashtag Forgiveness Friday. So we'll know that, hey, you're hashtagging this because of the show, so you can cop your ticket to join us. And that's going to be January the 18th at 2 p.m.
It's open at 1:30.
I think I'm not even going to work on a Saturday, y'all. I am going, so I'm excited about that. And those of you know that Live It, Do It, Be It, we have launched. This is the second year that we are doing the 3-day confidence mastery. All you have to do is go to Eventbrite. You can find it on my personal page, my business page, Kiana F. Brown, and you can learn how we can navigate together through life traffic jams. I'm so excited. My tongue is tied from early this morning. I'm still going. I know when I get home, y'all, I'm going to crash. I am going to totally crash. But however, go ahead and go to Eventbrite. Go to my business page, Kiana F. Brown, and you can find out how you can be a part of this 3-day live, me and you and some other amazing women, and maybe some men might join us this year for the Confidence Mastery, where you can figure out how you can break through the life journey that is holding you stuck, and you can become free and bold and walk out in that confidence that God has deeply placed within inside of you, and to help you pull it out on those 3 days. So guys, we're leaving for today. It's been an amazing show. I can't believe that it's done. I can't believe we were here for an hour. I thought I didn't have it in me, but we did it, guys. We did it. New decade. Yes, we're pushing. We're no longer going to push down, but we're pushing forward in this new year as we have our new beginning. Remember that today is just a day and a stepping stone for a greater tomorrow. I am Kiana F. Brown, and in everything you must forgive, and by doing that, you have to live it, do it, and be it. All right, Forgiveness Nation, we out. See ya.
We can be right, 'cause better now. ready for the weather now. Go get your sweater now, smile like it's cheddar now. Yeah, time to go get it now, God will not let you down. I'm up when I'm down, I ain't got time to frown. I feel so happy, I feel so happy. There's nothing you can say that can even change my day. I feel so happy, I feel so happy. I feel so good today.